Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. I would like to share with you a resume on the great educational thinker, Horace Mann. A little background information on Mr. Mann. He was born in Franklin, Massachusetts, May 4th, 1976. He was self-educated instead of primary and secondary education schools. He entered Brown University as a sophomore in 1816. He attended Litchfield Law School and was admitted to the bar in 1823. His experience was as follows. He practiced law beginning in 1823. He was in the state legislature in 1827, became a member of the state senate in 1833, secretary of education in 1837. He established the first normal school in 1839. He was called the father of the American education. He became a member of the House of Representatives in 1848 and the president of Antioch College in 1852. Examples of some of his ideas. Mr. Mann wanted a school to be provided for both the rich and the poor and for every American child. Social harmony was Mann's primary goal of the common school. Mr. Mann felt that a common school would provide great social good, such as less poverty and crime. The impact on education. Mr. Mann helped create the Massachusetts State Board of Education in 1837. This was the first Board of Education in the United States. Mr. Mann rejuvenated the 1827 law establishing high schools and helped create 50 high schools during this time. Mr. Mann started schools for teacher training. He visited Europe to learn more about the established education principles. Mr. Mann saw a common school as a purpose common to all in order to provide a good education. I want to share with you an outside critique on Mr. Mann. Bob Pepperman Taylor, the author of Horace Mann's Troubling Legacy, written in 2010, he felt that the way Mann approached civic education treated the role of schools in training the intellect as insignificant, and the model still exists in current model of schooling in the U.S. today. Mr. Taylor also felt like Mann's ideas were not original and were sometimes had unscientific nature to them. I would like to share with you my personal critique. Mr. Mann thought that schools would totally end poverty. He thought that it would help greatly reduce crime. This is not the case. As crime continues to rise, even this very day, poverty is still a great problem in the United States. I know even in my class, I have many students that are living below the poverty line. Several examples of this. We have certain days of the week that our students have to wear embroidered chapel shirts with a collar. I know that some of our students cannot provide these shirts. Their parents cannot give them the money. Some of them live with grandparents that they cannot afford that. We have school spirit days where t-shirts are provided to be purchased from our school. $10, the students cannot even purchase these shirts. Field trips are another problem. With the field trips, they can't afford the bus transportation or the fee to get in whatever the field trip where we might be going at that time. One of the ones I was thinking of was school lunches. School lunches have become a problem with the students being able to purchase them or even to be able to bring a lunch with them to school. The parents or grandparents that are raising them, they can't afford it. Our school is a private school. We're not funded by the state, so our school is absorbing the cost of providing the lunches for some of these students, sometimes on a daily basis. One story stands out. I had a young boy in my class 2 or 3 years ago by the name of James. James came to school many days with shoes that would flap back and forth, and the other students were making fun of him. After I corrected them for making fun of him, I went home and spoke with my wife. We decided to buy him shoes. Brought the shoes to school a couple days later. He was very excited. This is something that his parents could not provide for him, or the grandparents that were raising him. It stopped the kids from making fun of him. He was happy. that was just my little bit of way of helping out. So, so I do not feel like the poverty was helped during this time with what Mr. Mann was set out to do. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you.